Hi there, it's Sharon Waxman, the editor of TheWrap, coming to you from TheWrap's studio at Sundance 2020. I'm delighted to welcome the director of Aggie, Agnes Gund, and the subject of Aggie, Agnes Gund. Catherine, you did a movie, you made a documentary about your mother, who is a towering figure in the world of philanthropy and art and social activism. Tell us a little bit about her story and why you decided. I mean, I think it's obvious why you decided to make the film. It's a pretty interesting topic, just that. But give us the background of how it came about.
Well, I think there was an action that Aggie took that was really surprising and
Hang on. You call her Aggie?
So I do, and people, all of her friends tease me because I call it, well.
Since what age?
When I didn't do it as a youngster. I started probably.
Mom.
It was mom. It was mom. I still call her mom when my sister's around. I say, Mom, will you get Mom? I call her Mom to her, but Aggie to her. I think because, actually, our worlds really collided when I moved to New York City, and we were interested in so many of the same things. Women's issues, arts, philanthropy, and activism, and I really came there during the height of the AIDS crisis. And she was so affected by the AIDS crisis because her whole community was the art world, and there were so many artists that we lost a generation of genius that we could have. I don't think without the AIDS crisis we would be where we are right now. That's my thing about the AIDS crisis, because I think there were people who
where would we are right now in terms
of Trump and the authoritarianism and the whole way the country's gone. I think if we have imagination, if we have creativity, we have a lot more movement towards justice, more movement towards humanity and empathy. And as Darren Walker says in our movie, art creates empathy, and there is no justice without empathy. And that's an in for all of us into the art world and through to our own lives.
So you were born into a very wealthy and a very well-established family, part of the establishment. I just learned that from Cleveland, which happens to be where I'm from. Why did you choose not just to become a debutante and read Town and Country magazine and instead decide to take action with the wealth that you were born into?
Well, I partially the reason is that I felt guilty. I felt like I shouldn't have this when so many other people don't have this, and they have all kinds of injustice done to them. And the reason I thought about the prisons was because it was largely a black based, not audience, but black-based problem.
Racialized.
That I have 6 grandchildren that are black, and so I thought half my grandchildren, half my family are black, and I should do something about that given the little I could give to it. But I'm now thinking about going on and doing some work more with climate change.
But you've given a great deal of money to the art world. But then at a certain point, one story that you tell, important sort of turning point, is when your mother sold a Lichtenstein painting for $165 million.
She chose this painting. She went, actually, it was inspired by a film, which is very moving to me as a filmmaker. Ava DuVernay's film, 13th. And she saw that film and she was so moved by it. And she said, I am not doing enough. I need to be doing something. And she literally went home and chose this painting to sell and said, I'm going to turn this painting into money that is for criminal justice reform. So it's not like previous, she's always given money and she's always had paintings. And a lot of collectors are philanthropists. But what was different this time is she said, this money is for criminal justice reform. And the painting is still there. The painting still exists in the world. We didn't have to lose the painting to come up with this money.
Was this a painting on your wall?
Yeah. For 40 years.
For 40
over
years?
her mantle. It was one of her best friends, this painting. And the artist she was very close with.
Roy and Dorothy's a good friend, Dorothy Lichtenstein, who is the widow of Roy. And she's on the studio and the school board, which is a thing that I started about 42 years ago now. And it's art in the schools for kids that are not privileged to have that. And they're terrific because now they know in these classes that they have that they could be artists too, and that black people are artists and people of color are artists and white people are artists, and that you don't have to be any specific color to be an artist. And
so the money from this painting, which I'm sure you were surprised at how much it sold for, went in its entirety to
all
fund...
the proceeds of it went into the Art for Justice Fund, which is a project with the Ford Foundation and the Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, and it is to be spent down in 5 years in the fight to end mass incarceration. And so instead of giving away $1 million a year forever, we seized on this moment, which is a very special moment in the movement. Mass incarceration has hit a horrible peak where we have 5% of the world's population and 25% of the world's prison population in this country.
Population.
Yes. And we 1 in 3 black boys born today are expected to spend time in prison. It's 5 times higher than for white boys. This time is a urgent crisis, and it's a bipartisan issue right now, which is not usual. I mean, there's nothing else right now that's bipartisan. So it was really a moment where we felt there was a window open and that we could do something about it and actually just spend this money. We don't want it to last forever. We want to use it now to end mass incarceration, and we're doing it in a special way with grants that really go to the intersection of art and advocacy. So it's some lawyers and some activists and some teachers and different groups, but always with a message that the artists need to know what's really going on, how people are experiencing this, and the advocates need to use their biggest imaginations to get us through. And they can do that in collaboration with artists.